All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of No Man's Sky. So it's been a while since I played No Man's Sky, played Atlas, went through the whole game, put in roughly about 100 hours of playing Atlas, and then put it down. Because, you know, I finished it. I did everything that I wanted to do, and it was time to move on. And now, so fast forward 6, 7, 8 months, I don't remember when it was I played Atlas, and beyond, the update to 2.0 has come out, and man, is there a bunch of huge improvements. So I'm going to go through my impressions of 2.0 so far. You know, one of the first big changes of Beyond was multiplayer. And so multiplayer, I've never really got into multiplayer. I did play for maybe about 4 hours, and I wasn't too thrilled about it, to be honest with you. One person, at least the way that I understand it, is one person houses the save file. To me, it doesn't seem like a really good concept of a multiplayer. So what they did to multiplayer was they expanded on that experience. Before, it was just 4 people. So with PC now, multiplayer is actually a lot larger. And it's now extended to 32 players on a PC and 8 players on a console. Now, they did this whole new concept of this, space anomaly has now been turned into like this Nexus where you can go and you can actually take on events that you can really cross all platforms that you can play with other players. Okay, so this is getting more of an interesting concept where it's almost like an instanced version of multiplayer where it doesn't matter, you're all in your own little universes doing your own thing, building your own bases, but then here's this central hub that you can get into and you can go off and do little joint missions together. And their missions are very similar to the regular missions that are on the star bases, which is go hunt, go kill, go build type missions. But it's nice that you could do that with friends. So there was a huge change to the missions and the tutorials. They've been significantly revised. There's a vast improvement. I love it. I love it. I love it. I thought before that the missions and tutorials were just too, cumbersome, I guess is the best word to use. And it seems like they've streamlined that down a little bit, as well as, there's new story content that's been added to the main line. And the Atlas Pass and the anomaly and the story of, Artemis and all that. That's been kind of refined and maybe hopefully condensed. I haven't gone through, I've played about 2 hours of Beyond now, and I haven't really gotten super deep into the story. But I'm hoping what they did with the Artemis mission and the Atlas Path is that they've, significantly revised that. Like they have the missions and the tutorials, because some of it was just too much. There was too much back and forth. Go here, go there, go find this, go dig this up, and, to continue on with the story. And I don't know, it feels like it got lost. If you really weren't interested in completing the story, you probably didn't complete the story because it just got to be too monotonous. It's really cool about the tutorials and kind of there's like a new guidance system in there. In the game now where this little dialogue pops up and it's really neat. It kind of tells you what to go, what to do. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do that. That also works for building materials. Like let's say I want to build some sort of reactor. You can pin that recipe and then have it go through this like little tutorial thing where it says go build this, go build that, until you get to like the final product. And I thought that was a very neat improvement to their system because they needed something like that. There's been so many times where I wanted to build something and it was like, I had to craft 15 items first before I can get to the final product. And halfway through, I'd be like, what did I need again? Right. So this helps mitigate that problem. As part of what I call the Nexus, it's actually called the new social hub. But, as part of that, there is a new like teleporter system inside of that hub that allows you to see other people's bases if you want to see them, which I thought was kind of neat, so you didn't have to fly all over the place. You could just, drop right in, check their base out, and go back to whether I'm not too sure if you go back to the hub or if you actually go back to your space station. I haven't tried it yet. When I did go in and look at it, it wasn't as good as the screenshot that they show you in the patch notes where they've got all these, graphics for everybody's picture of their base and what their base looks like. Mine was just kind of like, you know, a default, no screenshot of people's bases. It was just a default text of this person's base and that person's base. So it didn't seem as good as this, as their patch note screenshot was, but you know, it's functional if you want to go and check out somebody else's base. You know, the big thing about the space anomaly before is that you'd have to fly from system to system to hopefully encounter it. Now you can actually call it any point in anywhere you're at, you can actually call it to you, which gives you the opportunity to then, you know, not only purchase stuff inside of the hub, but also to be able to do the multiplayer missions whenever you want to. So whatever system you're in, anytime, you just call this thing into the system and you can just jump right in. You know, the technology tree has changed a lot. You know, beforehand, you would have to do multiple missions to be able to unlock the next technology. Now you've got more of a standard tree, right? Where you're going down a specific path to unlock things that you want, as opposed to just being given random stuff and if you don't use it, too bad. So I think their approach to the technology tree is a positive. I like I said, if you're just starting fresh off, this is not gonna, it's gonna be, you know, brand new to you. You're not gonna notice anything. But if you're coming in late game, or you've got a save file that you've invested some time in, this might be a little bit of a change for you. A little bit of a shock, but a positive shock. Like I said, I do like the changes to the technology tree. There's been a lot of game balancing in No Man's Sky 2.0, and they needed to do it. It was tedious before, tedious. You know, there was too much time invested on grinding and grinding and grinding. And they made some changes to the mining tool so that it's more uninterrupted. They made the ship controls and the space combat a little bit more balanced. And inventory has been relaxed, so you can almost carry a near unlimited quantities of resources, and you're not having to constantly juggle your storage space. Inventory space was like a nightmare in the previous versions. Large number of quality of life changes are really making a huge improvement into the game, and it's alleviating all that additional grinding that you had to do. There's some, you know, large, like, let's see, extra large, or maybe we won't call it extra large, but large specialist warp cells that gives you the ability to have, you know, multiple things of fuel instead of just one thing of fuel. Being able to move your installed technologies, oh my God, that's a huge one. Beforehand, you would have to disassemble it and then reassemble it, and you're losing some stuff in the process. Now you can actually just move it over. This is perfect. The ability to install technology at stages, similar to repairs, additional ramps in the space station. You know, these are all quality of life stuff that they've added in, and that's just a tip of what they've added in. They've changed the discovery page. I really like the new discovery page. It's a lot more in detailed. It's you know, everything has much greater detail. You can see the planets and the systems and the moons and the systems. When you go to the page where it's got the plants and the creatures, you actually get the 3D model. You can look at it, you can read about them. Really great job on the discovery page. That overhaul was much needed, and this looks fantastic compared to what it was. It's the same thing that happened to the galaxy map. The galaxy map changed as well, and it's much more useful than what it used to be. A lot more information. It looks a lot better, and it uses a lot better. So I'm really happy that they've gone ahead and done that. You know, they've added this concept of planetary charts, so you can find new and cool stuff. You got this navigational data before, but it wasn't really as useful, and now you can purchase these charts to find cool stuff inside of your systems or on a particular planet. The big thing for Beyond 2.0 is virtual reality. I haven't tried it out. I do have a virtual reality headset. I need to go ahead and give that a try. It's been a long time since I've had it installed, so I've got to reinstall the whole thing and get it up and running. But, you know, from what I've been reading and hearing about virtual reality in No Man's Sky, they actually did it right, and it actually feels like a usable experience. So I need to check it out. If you have a VR set, definitely check out No Man's Sky's VR capabilities, because like I said, I've heard they're really, really good. They added a bunch of new NPCs. They've added, you know, like 12 new traveler friends that have different looks to them, which are really cool. I think this kind of also opens up avenues for different storylines that they could possibly do, and or different races as part of the main storyline. I would love to see these additional characters get integrated deeper into the story. I would really like to see them use more than just the NPCs that are hanging around a station. They made a bunch of changes to the alien encounters with like 60 new dialogues. You know, before you would search for words as part of the language mini game inside of the game. You know, now they're just like a new tech that'll allow you to help translate some of that. So you don't have to go searching for all the words, but it's kind of neat because I've never gotten past one language. You know, I've never invested the time in really expanding out more than one language. So you know, all the other races is like, okay, whatever, speak to me in gobbledygook and I really don't care. But now there's a way to get around that. So you don't have to invest so much time in, you know, searching for the ancient artifacts to be able to get yourself a language boost so you can read some of these dialogues. The NPCs are dynamic now. They wander around, they, you know, do stuff, they interact with you. I thought that's pretty cool. Before they were just static, you know, mannequin kind of like, where they're just standing there and really doing nothing. Yeah, they would have some animation when they talk to you, and they have some animation when they're standing there, but not as alive as they feel now. And they definitely feel alive now. And you go into a building and an NPC is there. Next thing you know, you turn around, he's gone. He'd walked outside and he's done something outside of the space station, or not outside the space station, but outside of the building that you were currently in. They've added in creature riding, which is kind of cool. So now that you can tame a pet and then you can mount and ride him. Speaking of creatures, they've added in this creature harvesting. So they've got, you know, things like milk and eggs and edible clusters, which gives you a variety of cooking, which they've added in. They changed the base building system has been changed and overhauled so that it's a lot easier to use. It's quicker to get your base up and running, and also to, you know, get all of those quests that were inside of your base finished. They also added a whole new base power system. I don't know how quite I feel about that. Just one more thing to fuel up, but maybe they made it easier for us since they simplified a lot of other things. I'm going to have to play with it because there are self-sustaining solar panels that you can get. Ton of optimizations. They've optimized the graphics. They've optimized improving performance in universes, on planets, on everything. I did notice when I was playing that it does feel a lot faster. So it feels a lot smoother too. So I'm hoping that everybody else is experiencing the same thing, and I'm glad they spent some time optimizing their code. There's this whole new concept of industrial base building. So think of it as like a mining base, you know, where you're trying to dig down for deep level mineral deposits or concentrated gas clouds or something, right? Some sort of hot spot that you're trying to get to that you can only get to with an industrial base building. I haven't done any of that yet. I'm looking forward to doing it though. It looks really neat. And then the list of patch notes goes on and on and on and on. I will make sure that in the description, there's a link to the Beyond Update patch notes so you guys can sit down and read them all. If you want to sit down and read them all, it's a lot to read. It's a lot to read. I'm looking forward to getting into No Man's Sky again. We're definitely going to be playing live streams. I'll probably be doing little mini guides for No Man's Sky to help you start playing No Man's Sky. You know, I dogged the game in the beginning. I dogged it because, you know, I still feel bitter about it that, you know, they lied so badly to us. I dogged them in the beginning. And even after the Atlas Path update, I still dogged them a little bit. I have to tell you, with Beyond, they've gone in the right direction. They're finally making some great steps and some great progress in refining their game. And it's starting to feel like a more solid base game. It took 3 years, but look, it's starting to get there. I still highly recommend getting it while it's on sale. I still don't feel it's a $60 game. I don't know why they feel it's still a $60 game. It's 3 years old. It's granted you are putting out a bunch of new great content. It should have been there in the beginning, but you know, hey, Okay, get it. It's worth half price. It's worth 30 bucks. Buy it for 30 bucks if you can get it. All right, so that was it. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribers, please subscribe. We have a fantastic community here. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.